Heated debate. People on both sides of the abortion issue are making their voices heard. Many took to the streets in the wake of the Supreme Court decision to overturn Roe v. Wade.
At least 22 states are banning abortions, and more could announce bans in the coming weeks. Some of those states, including South Dakota, only include exemptions to protect the life of the mother.
South Dakota Governor Kristi Noem spoke with Margaret Brennan on Face the Nation about why her state does not include exceptions for victims of rape or incest.
And we'll continue to make sure that those lives are protected. And I just have never believed that having a tragedy or a tragic situation happen to someone is a reason to have another tragedy occur.
13 states had a trigger ban in place in which abortions became illegal automatically if and when it turns out Roe was overturned. 9 other states had laws passed or enacted before this Roe decision, making them all but certain to ban abortion if they have not already. And in at least 4 additional states, the expectation is that they will issue some sort of a ban on abortion in the weeks ahead.
And Ushma Upadhyay is an associate professor in the Department of Obstetrics, Gynecology and Reproductive Health at the University of California, San Francisco. She joins us now. Ushma, welcome. Great to have you with us. So I want to talk about our new CBS News polling, which shows 65% of women feel overturning Roe v. Wade will make the lives of women worse. So as a healthcare professional, what are your biggest concerns when you hear states are banning abortions with barely any exceptions?
Thanks for having me, Tony and Tanya. I am very concerned about these abortion bans. They will increase the distances that people have to travel to obtain abortion care. These distances will be insurmountable for many people. They just won't be able to get a wanted abortion at a facility. Some people will attempt to order pills online. Or self-manage, or just be forced to carry unwanted pregnancies to term.
You know, most abortions in this country now happen with pills, as you mentioned, so people could potentially order them, get them sent across state lines. So rather than having to travel themselves, the medication travels. Do you see that as an alternative that can be ramped up in states where the ban on in-person treatment is in effect?
Absolutely. All of the available evidence shows that these pills are safe and effective. The FDA in December approved telemedicine permanently for people in all states. It is available through the mail in 22 states, all of the states that are protecting abortion access. So this is definitely a potential strategy to be able to open access in states that have banned abortion care. And what we need is the federal government to stand behind the FDA's decision that these pills are safe and effective, and to push or to encourage states to allow people to obtain these pills.
We had the California Attorney General on earlier, and he said that he feels confident, legally speaking, that women who travel to California for treatment will not face criminal liability back in their home state. But the question of pills is one that didn't come up. I wonder, are you worried that a woman who receives medication from a legal state in an illegal state could face criminal repercussions?
Yes, I am. People will attempt to order these pills online. And we know that people of color are disproportionately criminalized for their reproductive behavior, especially if they are to go into an emergency room. We know that sometimes medical staff believe it is their duty to call the authorities when there is absolutely no medical reason for them to call the authorities if they suspect that someone has attempted to end their pregnancies. We know, so I am very concerned about people of color being disproportionately impacted by these laws.
What advice would you have then for women who are a little concerned, because there is sort of the gray area and whether this would cause them to face legal jeopardy or not? Could they set up a mailbox in California, let's say a state where abortion is legal, have the pills sent there and then forwarded to them at another state? I mean, something like that could.
And then, Tanya, as you're talking, it occurs to me that if they're Googling stuff like that and they face a criminal investigation later, that would be evidence potentially.
Right, that is true. But are there pieces of advice that you could share for women who are in those situations? Because we don't know, first of all, whether they'd face any legal jeopardy or not. But in the fear that they might, is there advice that you could share with them to sort of minimize that?
Well, there's only one service that mails directly to states where abortion is banned, and that is Aid Access. It still will put people in at criminal risk. And I do know our research, we have a study on telehealth for abortion, and we do have patients who have reported having the medications mailed to a friend in another state and having that friend forward the pills to them. I am concerned exactly what Tony said, is that people are often monitored, their behavior is monitored. If they are prosecuted, there may be an electronic trail. So all people have the right to clinically supported care, no matter what state they live in. And so these are just stopgap measures that people are trying to attempt, accepting that legal risk. It's not the ideal solution. And what we really need is the federal government to get involved and stand behind the FDA's decision to approve these medications for all people in all states.
Yeah, Ushma Upadhyay, thank you so much for your insight. There's still so many questions, so many gray areas around all of this that we, appreciate whatever insight you can share. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me.